Well, hello everybody, and welcome to another daily chat with Andy the Gabby Cabby on a Sunday. I hope everyone is doing all right and you've had a half decent weekend. Now, I want to be upfront straight away with you. This live stream is a pre-record. I've done this for you, so you've got your usual Sunday night feed, and you're all together and you can interact and have your usual Sunday night chat. I am currently, well, probably only just got home or on my way back from Gatwick Airport as we speak. I was actually going up to a 6:30 in the evening flight, and I didn't want to risk the chance of you not getting your live stream. So I thought I'd pre-record something for you, and I hope that's okay. Those of you, I actually ran a survey on this a couple of weeks back just to see what your opinion is. And it was kind of a 50-50 split between yes, record something, and don't give a shit either way. So I'd rather just record something so you've got it. If you haven't done so already, please hit the like button. Give the old thumbs up a whack as soon as you come in, and that helps the algorithm. What I want to cover before we cover anything else tonight is a big thank you to all of you on the channel that have supported me, continued to support me, and the new guys that come in. We have passed 42,000 subscribers. Never in my wildest imagination would I believe that this was possible and that we'd get to this stage, and it continues to climb even now. So I am ever so grateful to you all, and I really very much appreciate it. Please just continue to do what you're doing. That's all I ask, and it'll help everything grow. Well, what I wanted to look at tonight was something a little bit different that caught my eye the other day. This thing about artificial intelligence. There's a load of press articles and a load of information pieces about this, and it's got people very worried. Now, what I was trying to work out for myself is why has it got people very worried? What's behind this? And you know, there's got to be a source to it somewhere. Now, is it the fact that it's a political agenda that they want to start putting roadblocks in, or is it something a little bit more sinister? Now, when we talk about artificial intelligence, it's like the next level of technology, isn't it? It's where you ask a machine or a computer algorithm to do something for itself, and then it will work it out and just do it. And all it takes is a basic instruction. It's a bit like, here, make us a cup of tea, and it will do it in the best way possible. Now, artificial intelligence in one way or another has been present in films for years. I mean, here is just a small sample of the many films that have been out over the years to do with it. And science fiction has a funny way of, you know, pre-telling to us what could happen in the future. It's like you've got iRobot, that's a pretty cool one. Star Trek motion picture, Eagle Eye, War Games, that's an old film. Chappie, Stealth, Spider-Man, Megan, Moonfall, and various others. Now, all of these films foretell a situation where artificial intelligence was installed or put in place to achieve a certain job, and the machine got too damn clever. That's the golden rule or the golden goose in this whole situation, isn't it? What if it learns too much? What if it enables itself to go further than its original intention? Now, one of the ones that springs to my mind straight away, I don't know if anyone's familiar with the actual program, the original or the reimagination, Battlestar Galactica, again another science fiction program. And they had in Battlestar Galactica something called the Cylons. I mean, you can see that big, mean, silver tin-plated thing there. Now, the Cylons in the actual realm of the science fiction, well, we'll go with the reimagination. What they were machines created by man, which enabled them to, you know, make their lives easier. They would get the machines to do things that man would not do or choose not to do. And eventually, of course, the machines learnt for themselves, thought, hang on, we're fed up with man bossing us about now, and decided to declare war on man, and all hell broke loose. It's a great reimagination of the original series, lasted 4 seasons, I think, and if you're into that sort of thing, it's worthwhile checking out. And there's a very poignant message at the end. All this has happened before. Doesn't necessarily mean it has to happen again. Watch it to find out. Now, where does my experience come into this? Well, before I was a cab driver, I worked in the IT industry for 13 years. I was an IT trainer, first of all. I taught people how to use basic computer skills. And at some point, I worked out, well, there's more money in engineering. So I went and became an IT systems engineer. And I went and installed networks, email servers, and all that sort of thing, primarily to make people's lives easier in the workplace. Even though I'm old enough to remember when we didn't have them, as I'm sure a lot of you are. And one of the last jobs I had within the IT industry was installing what are called remote access servers. Now, at the time, they were quite an advanced thing, an advanced idea, which is the beginnings of enabling people to work from home. And of course, we've gone further with cloud computing and everything else as the years have gone by. Now, I'm an IT systems engineer no longer because the firm I worked for went bust in the, well, at the beginning of the recession. And what I knew and the skills I had, I could only work in London. Didn't want to do that. I wanted to see my kids grow up. So I started driving cabs instead. That's me. But, you know, I diversify. I want to play one video for you, which is an overview of this whole thing from a news point of view. So give me a second and I'll line this up. Share screen. Now, this is really an expert's warning of the potential threat of artificial intelligence to humanity. And let's have a look and see what this is about. I'll just mute my mic.
Creators, academics, the people who are forming our future, they see limitless benefits to the work in front of them, but potentially limitless danger too. Their statement on artificial intelligence is short and it is stark. Mitigating the risk of extinction from AI should be a global priority alongside other societal scale risks, such as pandemics and nuclear war. It may be absurd, certainly cliched, to reach for the science fiction as we wonder what our future might hold, but the question seems to be how much of this could soon be fact.
When it comes to the risk to humanity,
the signatories of the statement want as much airtime as possible to warn of their concerns.
The day might come when their capacity vastly exceeds that of humans, and humans lose the ability to stay in control of what it is that the machine is seeking to optimize. And at the time, it seemed in the far future. Now, it may be, as it were, galloping towards us.
The Netflix series Black Mirror offers a speculative fiction, and on society's challenges, it is often proving prescient. But this frightening dystopia, a world where we've made robots that do the thinking, make the decisions, was based on the work of Boston Dynamics. And look how far they've come in a decade, from this in 2010 to this year. But the people behind this have clear moral policy pledges signed with other robotic companies. The debate is prompting top-level policy discussion.
AI clearly can bring massive benefits to the economy and society, and you've seen that recently, where it's helping paralyzed people to walk, discovering new antibiotics, but we need to make sure that this is done in a way that is safe and is secure.
Yet don't assume that the AI community is speaking with one voice on all this. It is not.
People need to calm down.
Professor Pedro Domingos has spent his career studying AI.
So if we want to make AI safe, the best way to do it is to make it more intelligent. because it's stupidity that's dangerous, not intelligence. The worry that people have is that AI will get too intelligent and we will not be able to control it. But intelligence and control are completely different things. We can have an infinitely intelligent AI that we still control very well.
Artificial intelligence is already fundamentally part of our lives. The debate over how we live with it, how we control it, has only just begun. Mark Stone, Sky News in Washington.
Very interesting debate raging on that subject. I mean, there you saw robots, and Rishi Sunak mentioned the ability to give someone back the use of their limbs if they are paralyzed for anything like a medical condition or an accident. So there's a lot of things to consider. I mean, that robot that pushed the box over and then kind of flipped over the top of it and did something else, that you can instruct a machine or something to do that already. That's without question. But did that robot do that because of learned experience? I know I have to push this, and I know I have to, it's a bit like if I hold my hand out to grab this Coke can. It's a reaction, something I've done again and again and again through learned experience. Now, that guy said at the end, make them more intelligent to avoid control problems later. Do you agree with that? Leave a note in the comments and let me know. Do we need to put measures in place to stop this getting out of control? Now, of course, if we try and apply this technology to our everyday lives and the things that we do, it can be useful. It really can be useful. I mean, you've all heard of OpenAI or ChatGPT. I want to demonstrate a couple of things to you now. I was playing with this earlier. I'll bring this up on the screen. I'm assuming everybody can see this okay. I'll put myself back in view just for the minute. Yeah, there we go. Well, I look big there. Let's make me look smaller. That's it. Right. This is the kind of initial interface with ChatGPT, and it gives you a load of examples of the kinds of things you can do. I mean, I made a couple of experiments earlier. I couldn't get ChatGPT to do anything with pictures, but I could get it to write a poem, and I could get it to make a website. And I thought these both things were pretty telling. I mean, let's have a look at this. I'll put it on the screen again. Get me out the way. And if we say write a poem with the words Coke, lemonade, and Sprite in it. What it makes of this. There you go. In a matter of seconds, we have a poem. In a world of flavours, sweet and bright, where melodies dance, painting the night, a poetic fusion, symphonies glide, let's spin a tale with Coke, lemonade and Sprite. Amidst the sunshine, warmth, behold the glass, a vessel of dreams, a moment to amass. The fizz of life had cascaded the light, where Coca-Cola's secret gleams so bright. Now, that's the first couple of verses, and as you can see, it's done exactly what I've asked it to do. Written me a poem with those 3 words in it that I've requested. Now, how has it done that? How has it learned, or how has it taught to do that? Or was it intelligent enough to work it out for itself? Now, for somebody like me to sit down and formulate that would take a while. How long would it take you? Do you write poetry? How long would it take you to come out with that? And that's seconds. It's quite frightening how quickly that's done, isn't it? Now, it can also do things like making websites. Now, let's think of something. I know. Let's go make a website about Andy. Well, let's say a one-page website. Make a one-page website about Andy the Gabby Cabby. I love the end bit. Andy the Gabby Cabby is a fictional character created for the purpose of this exercise. There's nothing fictional about me. The website is purely imaginary and does not represent a real business or individual. Now, you can see there quite clearly it's come up with all of that content. You know, it's incredible how fast that goes. I mean, this is far beyond anything, you know, that was ever in place in the IT industry when I was there. And it's literally your friendly and chatting cab driver, a smiling cab driver with arms outstretched, welcoming passengers. And literally 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 paragraphs, which actually make sense, and placeholders for things like images and all that sort of stuff. You know, it really does make sense. And again, how fast? I mean, some of these suggestions for questions as well for it. Explain quantum computing in simple terms. So there you go, a full explanation about quantum computing. Really a very powerful tool. And I can see this being a very good time saver for, I suppose, various things you might want to do within your life or your working life to try and save yourself some time. Now, I asked it some mathematical questions as well, like the square root of 2 million and things like that, and had a little bit of a play, and it can do all sorts. But again, is that actual technology all that it will be? Or is there potential for it to learn more and go further? In which case, do we have any control over it? Let me know what you think in the comments. Now, there was a piece that I wanted to play from the Piers Morgan show the other day, Talk TV or something or other, which had Richard Tice on it. And here is the political way of looking at it, and see what you think of this. Now, they've headed this truly terrifying. I suppose, in a way, you could look at it, it could be. But let's see what they have to say.
AI. I found that interview with Yuval Noah Harari pretty terrifying.
Utterly terrifying. I mean, I was learning...
Especially following Elon Musk and Stephen
completely.
Hawking.
I mean, the idea, and from what Professor Stephen Hawking said, people are now saying that actually, if this gets out of control, it could end the human race.
Yes.
I mean...
Well, it's out of control, isn't it?
And we're all...
that guy said this is like an amoeba, and we're heading towards T-Rex.
His description was...
What would it look like?
Was truly terrifying, and we've got to get on top of this urgently.
Yeah.
And essentially sort of understand.
I mean, we are looking. I have to say, we are looking into having a Pierce pack, which is basically robots.
Well, obviously,
fail.
obviously,
It will fail.
but
They
let's be
get
clear,
trained-
we
When
are
they
to
get trained to
replace-
say
It will
Piers,
fail.
I completely agree with you. They'll look and sound exactly like Paula.
And that's how we know it'll be AI. And that's when we know the end of the world is nigh.
They couldn't do you though, Piers. That's beyond the limits.
I think I'm beyond the robot. I like to think I am, because if I'm not, we're all screwed, right?
Well, Piers Morgan notwithstanding, there's a very simple explanation of it again. Obviously, a lot of worry, but I have to ask, is it brought about by genuine concern or some kind of political agenda? Who knows? You let me know what you think in the comments. Listen, everybody, this is the daily chat on the Sunday with Andy the Gabby Cabby. I hope everyone is all right. As I said, a little bit different this evening. A little pre-record, just something I saw the other day, and I wanted to divert your attention off a little bit. Obviously, I'll read the comments and let me know what you think later on. If you haven't done so already, please hit the like button. It helps the algorithm. Let's get it up to 100 likes, and you know, it will help videos like this spread around, particularly if they're useful. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. If you've been subscribed for a while, make sure you still are, because every now and again the algorithm can, you know, knock you off. Make sure you're still there. And also, if you're just watching for the first time, please consider subscribing. It is free. Well, I wanted to do a little exercise now. I'm going to reveal to you a trade secret. There's a thing that most YouTubers use in the background. YouTubers worth their souls. There's a couple of tools they use. One is called TubeBuddy, and the other is called vidIQ. Now, what these two things do, they're literally Google-approved tools which enable you to get more of a broader understanding of what's going on with your YouTube channel, with particular keywords, where the most views are coming from, where the most traffic's coming from, what's losing you traffic, and all that sort of thing. Now, the one I use is vidIQ. And I noticed the other day that they added a particular thing to their offering. And I thought, oh, yeah, AI content generator. Yes, artificial intelligence content generator. Now, this is what it looks like. There's a very simple interface. I've literally had a play of a couple of things. And oh my God, AI content generator for YouTube. And all you have to do there is type in what you want a video to be. Now, if I have a look at the list of news articles that I've received, let's just have a look. There we go. Leeds Council to install 25 new bus lane cameras in city centres to maximise funds. So let's just grab this headline and we'll use that as a title. So I should imagine that'll be outrage when I publish that. The Leeds Council to install 25 new bus lane cameras in city centre. So, go. And as you can see, it's created an entire video feed for me. A title, a description, a script. And if we scroll down, it's very detailed. You've got thumbnail backgrounds and keywords. Now, with these thumbnail backgrounds, do view full thumbnail, you can download that and then add any text or combination of arrows to it that you choose. And there's a script. In an effort to improve the flow of traffic in Leeds city centre, the council has announced plans to install 25 new bus lane cameras. These cameras will monitor bus lanes to ensure drivers are staying within designated areas, ultimately reducing congestion and making it easier for buses to get through busy roads. The cameras will be installed on various streets, including Bower Lane, Church Street, Vicar Lane. The council has stated that they hope additional cameras will help to issue more fines to drivers who flout the rules and park in bus lanes, benefiting both commuters and local businesses. And there's a full description there as well. So it's everything you need to make a video on YouTube. Absolutely incredible stuff. Now, again, it wouldn't strictly be accurate, and it wouldn't strictly be how I deliver it or, would put it across, because it doesn't know all of the context of the news article I just drew that from. But the content does make sense. Again, how did it know to do that? Where did it draw that information from? Did it go searching for it? Was it taught to find that? Was it taught to write like that? Incredible. Absolutely incredible. I never saw anything like that in my IT career. And I do wonder where it will go. Let me know what you think in the comments. Even afterwards, drop me an email if you have any thoughts about it. And, we'll go from there. That's really what I wanted to go through artificial intelligence with you and show you a couple of examples of what's out there, and how it works. I can see the uses for it in everyday, I suppose, menial tasks to try and speed up people's workflow. But there is that little thing in the back of your head where you talk about robots and all that sort of thing. And you think about the networking of technologies we have now, like Teslas and computer networks and things like that. What if it did get out of control? Food for thought, isn't it? Anyway, another thing I want to go through with you, completely unrelated to artificial intelligence now, is the actual channel, couple of changes I've made. I've made some changes to the way thumbnails are presented, try and make them a bit more colourful and a bit more eye-catching. And from the viewing figures we've been getting over the last couple of days, seems to be working a treat. So again, thank you very much for your support with all that. And the other thing I've done, I've started making a few more polls, as in, polls with questions on. And I wanted to get some of your input on, matters that I talk about on the videos and see what you think. And then that way we can generate a bit of a readback. Now, I grabbed my mobile phone and I was having a look through, and one of them that seemed to garner a lot of attention was, and it's gone up, who is to blame for low traffic neighbourhoods? Is it Sadiq Khan? Is it Boris? Or is it someone else? 3,500 people voted. 82% of you say Sadiq Khan. Pretty predictable result considering he was trying to blame Boris. 7% say Boris. 11% say other. Please comment. And there's about 224 comments. Let's have a little read about what some people say. Jim Smith. For some reason, all governments have signed up to a globalist agenda. For a government to allow anyone to dictate to its citizens is nothing short of tyranny and corruption. I did a video about the WHO. In fact, I did a couple of videos about the WHO with regard to the Vienna Treaty on treaties and, what they plan to do. And you can see all the little parts and pieces falling into place, can't you, if you really follow the trail. So I think you're onto there something, Jim. Attaboy, boy. I love that screen name. Boris Johnson encouraged it and Sadiq overblown it. Well, I think the whole original source of the congestion charging, it was either Livingston or Johnson, wasn't it? I'm not sure whether there was a cross in between or it came from Johnson, but all the little offshoots seem to come from the C40 agenda. And, you know, what Khan is really trying to do. Mr. Fisher, WEF, I'll say WEF. They're telling everyone how to run their countries, and a lot of politicians are just going along with them. Some countries aren't doing it, though. Power to them. I wish everyone was like that. David Leake, doesn't matter how many times you change the brush, the broom handle will be the same. Tell that to Trigger. Yeah, that reminds me of that old joke, doesn't it? But you're dead right. Steve Jacques. Clearly, the WEF and other globalists have initiated this nonsensical idea. You see some of the coordination of it all over the place, where you see the same slogans with different governments and things of that nature, don't you? Pretty frightening. Diane Arkley. Johnson did say he wanted this when he was mayor, but he got sacked. Khan is doing it. So both of them, globalists. Elizabeth MacArthur. Everyone let it happen without a fight, with a emoji. Craig Johnson, the residents who let it happen. David Jackson. As some people have said, it's really the electorate who are to blame. Perhaps also people who know the politicians will make a mess of things and don't even stand for election themselves, or fail to persuade others to do so. When I saw the mayor elections last time and he got back in, I couldn't believe it. I really couldn't believe it. But I'm hoping with certain things now, people are starting to wonder. All Labour councils, be very careful who you vote for. Yeah, there seems to be a common theme that runs through all this, doesn't there? Ken Livingstone is the man who started all the low emission zones off with the charges to enter London. The rest are built on the first initiative. So the ULEZ and low emission zones and 15-minute cities are the continuation of that initiative. It will continue until all traffic is stopped by these zealots. I never know how to pronounce that name, but I get the idea. After they will find something else to restrict in our lives. Indiana Jones, brilliant, absolutely brilliant. New film soon, isn't there? As per my understanding, local councils were given more power. They are implementing the plans from the government globalists. Well, they were feeding off of a pot of money, weren't they? Given to them to implement these things. And I think they've been told whether it happens or not. If you want it, do it yourselves out of your own pockets. That'll be the council tax going up, I'm sure. Mr. Collin, 1995. All the politicians want this to happen so they have more power. I bet they'll be running around with their range-roving gas guzzlers like Mr. Khan, won't they? CH. The root of the 15-minute neighbourhood's bullshit is Klaus. Let them eat Bug Schwab and the WEF. Shine Apple Punks. Boris started it all. It was in motion then. Bless. Terry's Gaming World. Boris and Khan are the faces, but a lot of stuff behind the scenes at pushing it. Most likely a global power and control as it's getting pushed all over the place. Control or our movement in our vehicles, our cars, our freedom. Compliance is to blame. This is it, isn't it? Compliance. We're all complying with something. I mean, all of these comments that you've made are all of the same vein. You know, we're all waking up. We can see what is going on, and will it get put a stop to? Another interesting one here is a poll I did. Will you challenge the ULEZ status of your car? Now, 19% have said no, 81% have said yes, and that was off 1,300 votes. Now, what I mean by the ULEZ status of your car, you've got a situation where if you're Euro 6 for diesel, don't pay ULEZ. If you're Euro 4 for petrol, don't pay ULEZ. But those classifications were brought in at a point in time. And there's many, many vehicles which are older than that, which aren't classified as Euro 4 or Euro 6, because basically those classifications weren't about when these things were made. And what you can do is get a compliance certificate or get them checked yourselves find they're compliant, and tell TfL to stick it up their exhaust pipe, and then you won't have to pay ULEZ. And I encourage people to do that, particularly if they've got to work or drive in London on a regular basis. It could potentially save them a fortune. Leonard White, as far as I'm concerned, if the car passes an MOT, exhaust emissions test, then it should be exempt. I agree. If everyone flooded the council with requests for the data under Information Commissioner Office laws and asked them to delete the data on every day they are hit by the ULEZ, the system would grind to a halt. I'll tell you what, freedom of information requests are a very, very powerful tool in a lot of places. And this could be one of them. I've seen your suggestion before, Slip the Greyhound. I have. It's a good one. Chris Cunningham, you could identify your car as a bike. Alan McKenzie, any fines from any low emissions would just be filed in the bin. A lot of you do it. Geordie Old School, I won't pay anything to anyone unless I'm told about the charges before I buy my car. If you buy something and after a while you're charged to use it, that isn't fair, and so I won't want to pay. If you've had a car for years and you have to pay to use it except for the usual fees, then they can. Bob Davey, no, Andy, I just won't pay the daily charge, just like everyone in Birmingham. Well, that whole thing's ground to a halt, hasn't it, really? My engine is pretty much the same as a car engine, but because it's in a van, I get screwed for ULEZ. My tax is much higher also. Even new cars have more emissions than my van. I had a funny thing with my van. I call it a van. It's a minibus, Ford Tornio. I bought it off of a friend of mine who runs an airport transfer firm as well. I took it off of him. My van's Euro 5. His is Euro 6. He's exempt from ULEZ, and I'm not. But he pays more road tax than me, even though it's supposed to be on emissions. His is AdBlue as well, and mine is not. Nuts. Make of that what you will. Yes, this is one. Here's one. My brother, this is first name. My brother owns an American imported 2002 Silverado 6.6 Duramax. Julie, this thing is nearly the size and width of a bus. He's owned quite a few American trucks pickups over the years. He's looked it up on several sites, and somehow it says it's ULEZ compliant. But yet I used to own a 2008 Grand Punto 1.3 diesel, and that was not ULEZ compliant. WTF. That's a prime example of what's going on. There is no, parity really over the two things. John Moore, I have a 53-year-old classic car, which under the rules makes it exempt. Yet when I type in the reg number, it doesn't agree. It's exempt from road tax, isn't it, at 53 years old? But I assume you mean ULEZ as well. Ian Hosier, where is the option to select what the heck is ULEZ? Ultra low emission zone charge, otherwise known as the carbon tax. Lee 303, I don't own a car. I won't live under fascist rule. A lot of people feel like that, don't they? John Orr, love the post, but get rid of the advertising behind your head. People keep picking on my Sainsbury's carrier bag. It's purely there because it's part of the scenery in the garage, and it's just ended up being, part of the scenery because at the end of the day, I'm in my garage. I can guarantee you I make no money out of that whatsoever. And, it's just there. One thing I did do one time, I replaced it with this to see if anyone had noticed. And nobody, I think one person passed comment, Del Boy, Rodney, and Uncle Albert. But I took it off and the Bag for Life ended up back there. It's become a bit of an icon on my channel. And I get the occasional person, have a pop. You're entitled to your opinion. Thank you. Pete W1, I won't be going to London. I don't want to go to London anymore. I agree with you. It's a minefield. Jay Mills, my 2006 diesel won't pass, so won't go anywhere near ULEZ zones. So glad I live far away from that crap. Well, there are people that live far away from that crap as well. And, you know, they come into London and other places, they get well and truly caught out. It's not great. Listen, folks, thank you very much for listening. Make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you subscribe to the channel and make sure you still are. Make sure everything's in the right place. I want to thank you very much for this evening. As I said, it's alive, but it's not alive in the sense I'm actually here. I wanted to make sure you still had your regular Sunday night slot so you could come on, talk, interact, and chat with each other while I read through some of your comments and what was bugging me about the whole artificial intelligence thing. Tomorrow, there will be more content coming out from 8 o'clock in the morning as usual, another 5 videos. And I try to do that, you know, every single day of the week, Monday to Friday for you. So you've got bags of content. Again, I really love the support you're showing me and this channel. Long may it continue. Enjoy the rest of your evening, what's left of it. Have a good week. I'll see you tomorrow. Toodaloo.